Let's get into it. 18th man, it's been approved today by the ARL Commission. So the league is, yet again, listening to the concerns of the players and the clubs. What it will be, Gal, is an emerging player, so one of the fringe first graders. The NRL will meet the travel costs of the 18th player, and the rule will commence from round 5, and that player will be allowed onto the field if 3 of their teammates fail the HIA concussion tests. Do you like it?
No, not overly a fan of it straight away. Look, I'd have to see how it's going to work, but I just don't think. What's the point of bringing in a player that may never play first grade? Only 3 guys are going to get injured. I don't like it at first thoughts. Then again, I don't want to see things what happened on the weekend. The Sharks were down to 15 players after 20 minutes and 13 players after 40 minutes. It was a really tough day for them. They stuck in there, but look, the back end of the game, Parramatta just come over wet sail and were too good for them because of the injuries that they had. I've got another philosophy, and this is something I've come up with, to stop. There's no chance of rorting it this way. I think we stick with the 8 interchanges. And what I'd say is that rather than having an 18th man or an 18th player, just have 5 players on your bench. You had 5 players on your bench. But if you have an HIA, if you have an issue with a HIA, you're done for the day. If they're really that worried about concussions and head knocks, if you get a HIA injury, you're done for the day. You can't pass a test. You can't come back on the field. You have 5 men on the bench. That puts all the onus and all the responsibility back onto the coach of the team. It doesn't allow for rorting, so players can't come on and off like they're doing at the moment. We all know they're doing it at the moment. It doesn't allow for that. And it puts the onus back on the coach to have the responsibility on how they manage their roster and how they manage the interchanges. That's something I'd like to see possibly in the future.
Yeah.
Just a 5-man bench, but you only get your 8 interchanges.
It's not a bad idea, and it sort of adds to the debate that's going on at the moment. But this is the rule that they've brought in today. It's subject to obviously discussions with the RLPA, the clubs, and everybody else involved.
Now, is it? See, last week, the 18th man was all about, let's have an 18th man for foul play.
Yeah.
Now, this week, there wasn't so much foul play, but blokes were getting HIAs anyway out of the game. So is 18th man for foul play or just for pure HIAs?
This is just for HIA.
For players that don't
just
pass
for
the
HIA.
HIAs. It doesn't matter about foul play.
Exactly right.
Okay.
Exactly right. So, look, I know you said you're against the idea, but what's wrong with carrying that extra player, an emerging player? One, because he will get a bit of experience being around the group and sitting on the bench waiting for an opportunity. The other thing that the ARL Commission has said is that the 18th player will also have to be rotated weekly, so you don't have a young player missing out on playing lower grades every week. So, I mean, I'm looking at it as an idea that, okay, well, we need to have an extra player on the bench. You're going to have someone there that's not necessarily going to get a run. So what's next best? Getting a bit of experience sitting on the bench. What's wrong with that?
Look, I'm just saying at first thoughts, I've just heard about it now, to be honest with you. So I'm just looking at it. I just like the game the way it is. I like it to be a war of attrition. I like if you get injuries, the 17 players out there have to tough it out and get it there and do their best. Well, what the Sharks did on the weekend was an amazing effort. Now, they never got the 2 points. Now, you can't tell me that if an emerging player, some bloke has no chance of playing first grade other than if there's 3 blokes get a HIA, could have come on the field against Parramatta last week and made a difference for the Sharks to win that match. I don't think they would. Okay?
But it's fresh legs, Gal.
Yeah, it is fresh legs, but I still don't think they make a difference. We're talking about an emerging player. Some bloke has no chance of playing first grade other than if there's 3 injuries. So now I'd like to see the war of attrition. The Sharks should get so much confidence out of what they did last week. And it was an amazing effort. All the fans should be terribly proud of them for what they did.
Let's put it over to our listeners. 131873 is the number, folks. Jump on the line, have your say. Gal is looking at sort of the negatives about it, but I'm sort of looking at the positives about what they've done today. I'd love to hear from the fans. I mean, you watch the game. Do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing? 131873.
What about the 5-man rotation? Is that?
But do you know what? I like the idea of that.
Yeah, I wonder who we could float that to.
But
you know what? Because HIA, it's becoming so serious now.
Of course it is.
And we all know that teams are rorting it. So if you have a player that has a HIA, it should be done for the day. Yeah. You're off for the day.
See, I like the idea of that because then there's no onus on club doctors and
that's what I'm saying.
There's no grey area.
I can see some people saying, well, then you have players trying to start if they've got a HIA, but the orange shirt on the field has medical training. Now, that means you'd be questioning the integrity of that person, which would not happen. You
know what else it eliminates? It eliminates players going down with a knee injury, and all of a
100%.
Sudden up goes the HIA card.
It eliminates the rorting. And
because
puts
they're not going to rort it, they stay off the field.
Puts all the onus back on the coaching staff and back on the team to do the right thing by their rotation.
I retract my criticism of you. You're an ideas man, Paul Gallen. Well done.